Nope.
Boop.
Welcome to the Fifers. I'm Rocky. That's Gilly, Walter, and Joe. And today we're just going to talk about whatever and have some fun with it. So who wants to bring up the first topic?
Joe, you want to do, since you've been in the longest out of all of us,
Oh, I'm the oldest, so there you go. So let's
you
talk
want
about
you got
let's
any
talk about
got
let's
any
talk.
crazy boot camp stories back from the 80s?
I joined the Navy and I left for the Navy in on my dad's birthday. He was more than happy to get me the fuck out of the house. So the ceremony was leaving the house on his absolute birthday, July 12th, 1982. So took off to San Diego and man, what a crazy thing that was. Because I had a really steady girlfriend in high school, and that was a gut wrenching thing to leave her. We knew it was coming, but you just kind of deny the whole thing, and then you go. So, but San Diego boot camp was pretty wild. And side story on this was my recruiter, a guy I still remember this guy's name, Mike Crowner. He said the new rate of Navy counselor, whatever NC1 NC, new Navy counselor, had just been formed, and Mike told me he goes, if the nuclear recruiter calls you, tell him no, and I didn't know why, but I had scored high enough on the ASVAB to have those guys call me. See, I'm looking back at this, but anyways, I get to boot camp, and he told me this. He goes, if you've ever been in a marching band or any of that kind of shit, when the guys ask you when you get to boot camp, have you ever been in a marching band? You know how to march? Raise your hand right away. And that I remembered that, and it changed my life. It changed my life because I did the whole fucking fourth grade, fifth grade, marching band, elementary school thing, sixth, seventh grade, high school band, all those freaking New England, Chicopee, Massachusetts parades, freezing my ass off, and all that other stuff. But you know what? Doing that stuff, that character building shit, and being a paper boy in Massachusetts in the winters as a 12 to 15-year-old helped me prepare for the rest of my life. It was pretty cool. What about you guys?
Well, I went in 97 and great mistakes because San Diego was already closed down by
Yeah,
then.
it was already closed. So I went in San Diego. Yeah, San Diego was
And
not bad.
or I would have went to San Diego. If I would have went 96, I would have fucking been in San Diego.
Right.
Because a buddy of mine that graduated in 96, he went to San Diego for boot camp. Because I'm eating west of Mississippi. But when they closed that, then they sent us all to great mistakes.
Rednecks, yeah.
And hell, I'm coming from a town, 190 people, right? Shit, I think our division had probably just as much people in it as my damn town did. Between both divisions, sister division, brother division, sister division. I was like, damn. But no, I didn't get to be in the marching band like you did, Joe.
Did you see a female human being while you were in boot camp?
Oh yeah, we did and stuff. They was the ugliest fucking bitches out there. I'll tell you that much right now.
Oh, ladies, yeah. I'll give us ladies out there.
No, they were bitches. That's what they
Oh,
was. They wasn't ladies. The ladies was the officers, in my opinion.
yeah, with the high heels, and they wore the skirt, the officer skirts, that
But
allowable uniform for those, and that those ladies allowable uniforms, if they fit them right, they look pretty damn good, I must say.
but I remember, one of the RDCs, he goes, "All right, fellas, these girls may look ugly right now. They're birth control glasses, but by the time boot camp's done, you're gonna be wanting to fuck every one of them." And he wasn't wrong too. We're like, "Oh, these ain't looking too bad now." You
There's
know,
some kind of syndrome for that. It's like mermaid syndrome or something like that.
Yeah, it's the opposite of beer syndrome. So it's like desperation syndrome or something.
Yeah, they did a little skit on that in How I Met Your Mother. I
I
remember that
remember,
shit.
I remember one time we all had to fucking work in the mess hall for a little bit at boot camp. Dude, there were so many guys getting fucking caught fucking these women in the fucking cold storage. I'm like, good lord, people. I was like, damn. You can't wait till you get over to NT side, school side to fucking get some on it. But I'm glad they had doors on the fucking bath stalls too. On the shitters. Because there are so many guys beating their fucking meat at night in those motherfuckers. And you can hear them too.
That's bad, man. How many? You not think about it. How many kids were conceived on D-Day from boot camp? In great mistakes. That's mind-boggling if you think about it. I'm sure there's quite a few that just happen to be, just came out of boot camp.
And I went in the summertime to Chicago in the summertime.
That's terrible.
I mean, it was hot, humid, right? Of course, back then the barracks or called the shifts, did not have no AC back then. I listened to all these fucking people that grew up with AC in their house, right? They were whining, "Oh, I'm gonna die. It's hot." I'm like, "This ain't bad, people. Come on."
Yeah.
They're like, "What do you mean? Didn't you have AC in your house?" I said, "No, we didn't." So I'm used to this shit. Plus, being from Missouri, same fucking.
Like if you watch Forrest Gump, and he's back at the main residency there, and there's no AC in that building. That's just the southern weather, and folks laid on their beds when it was 96 degrees and 100% humidity, and did the best they could to get some rest till the next day, and that's just the way it was,
The worst thing about boot camp was when in the middle of summertime was when they'd fucking have to make us. We had to put all of our winter gear on, and they'd fucking smoke our ass because some motherfucker really fucked up.
Really?
Oh yeah. And I was like, "Make it rain." I was thinking, "What the fuck is he talking?"
That's not good. That's not.
I didn't realize you could actually make it rain.
That's not a good lesson. That's like a seal. That's like the seal. One guy made a mistake, so you're all going to pay.
But that's when boot camp, before it got fucking woke, before they start handing out those fucking stress cards and all that bullshit.
Yeah.
Our RDCs. See, we had two E6s, right? They were both been in 18 years. So these are old salty motherfuckers. And we had a chief been in fucking 25 years, 24, 25. And he was as fast as they was.
But you know why? Those two E6s with 18 years were there to be recruit company commanders, because they were dying to make chief. And that would
be actually both of it. They both made chief at the same time too.
Yes, because they were there. Because they took that job. It's a tough job.
But yeah, I mean, I love boot camp. People bitching and crying, right? "Oh, it's too hard." It's like, dude, this is fucking nothing. But also, I came in great shape where a lot of guys, they didn't either. The hardest part for me at boot camp was fucking marching, because I always put the fucking tall motherfuckers in front.
Yeah.
The short fuckers got to keep up with the motherfuckers. And I had a hard time keeping step, right? With them. I always got yelled at for that.
Yeah.
So I was always the road guard, roadkill.
Did you guys do service week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
Oh, but yeah, I mean, I love being road guard. Then I didn't have to worry about keeping his step.
How will you be a road guard, fucker? You're so short. You're in the back row. Oh, the back row road guard. I don't know.
That's where I was roadkill. We had to run from the back all the way to the front.
Yeah,
I thought the road guards came out from the front and
for the back.
Jay, you had girls in your division in boot camp?
Huh?
You had girls in your division in boot camp?
No, ours did. They were all separate in '97 when I went.
No, yeah, we didn't have any girls in my division. Like, ours is one of the last few of just all dudes.
Yeah. Well, see, we had a sister division, but they's all dudes, but we call them sister division because they's a bunch of bitches. Well, yeah, I think 99 wasn't it, Matt, when they fucking made them, integrated them?
Yeah.
I remember my division was one of the last to have the Navy hat before they wrote recruit on it.
Yeah, see, I had a Navy hat too.
Okay, so you were, yeah.
We was a week apart. Me and you was a week apart.
Yeah, we were like when I came through in late, what was it? Basically August. They we were the first division to integrate because they were on the
What year? What year was that?
99.
Okay.
They were on the third deck on the ships. We were on the second deck. So they would come down and we would integrate on the second deck there and then go out to March, PT, breakfast, lunch, dinner, all that stuff. That's how they got caught fucking in the stairwells. Because they come down to the third deck, the guys will go out to the second deck. Like it happened all the time. They had to put an extra watch on, like an extra rover on just for the stairwells and the ships.
We call
That
that
is
fire watch. Fire watch.
Yeah.
My entertainment in '82 was there would be a lot of pigeons, and the pigeons would be really fucked up. So they had like a one leg, 1 foot, or whatever. And we kind of like watch the pigeons that had a leg missing or something like that. And the other entertainment was listening to this scowling of these cats, where the cats would get stuck with one cat with his dick up another cat's ass, and they would just be stuck there. Or one cat, maybe it was up a girl's cat's girl cat hole or whatever, but they would get stuck together and cry all night. That's the extent of that. But back in that day, it was all male, everything for a long time. 82 to fucking 98. So I had a long time in the Navy to not have to deal with this bitches. Gals and their requirements. So it's pretty cool. Very warrior thing. Ronald Reagan, blah blah blah. It was kind of cool. Yeah. So, but once we integrated, I remember my first integration was I was on the Fife. So wait, we pulled into fucking Everett, and the buses pulled up. You guys were there. Come on, let's talk about
Actually,
that.
the first integration on the Fife was officers right before we left in 98.
Yeah, that black chick, the black girl, a lieutenant supply officer, and some other.
And an MP officer.
Whatever. Yeah, the one that got fired for fucking for. Yeah.
Yeah, GSCC.
So the girl, the supply officer, black girl, eventually wind up in this giant controversy and getting kicked out of the Navy. I think she had time in prison or something like that because she was involved with some enlisted E6 guy and denied the whole thing and went on and on. Yeah, and I knew the dude from later on because I was on the Princeton, and that guy was my roommate, and I had no idea that he went through that shit. But he was a first class, then went LDO and became an LDO and an MP, a main propulsion assistant on the Princeton while he was still involved with that whole drama, which made fucking Navy Times front coverage with that chick. And then
on your boat?
Yeah, that'll wind up in tears, man. It's bad.
Huh.
But,
pretty crazy.
But boot camp, all right, we all went through the gas chamber. All right,
yeah.
Where was y'all in line? Was y'all in the front, middle, or the back?
I was in the back, unfortunately.
Was it alphabetical? Was it alphabetical?
Yeah. Since my last name was A, I was one of the first ones in the back.
Oh, my God. So you're in first, and you have to spend the most time in there. And that makes sense because they never cleaned that shit. So when you walked in there, it was already fucked up. And you had to fucking stand there for the longest time in that atmosphere as anybody else. And the guy came in the back, and then you left early after doing your... Yeah, that's terrible. That's terrible, Rocky. That's terrible, man. I hear you. As a D, I'm a D and you're an A. That's horrible, man. I get it.
My division didn't fuck it up. Do it by last name, right? They did it by height.
Oh, my goodness.
What?
So I was always stuck in that motherfucker. And everybody got through it, right? We all had to take our mask off same time, right? First few up till the middle was fine. Then about the middle people, they started choking. I was trying to hold my breath the whole fucking time. And then they said, got to me. They said, Gillespie, seat acres away. As soon as I opened my mouth, all that shit went in there. And they had this big old black dude. I mean, he was
Best
bigger.
story ever, man.
He was
Best
bigger
story
than
ever.
fucking Reed. Remember Ian 3 Reed?
Yeah.
He was bigger than him guarding the door.
Reed was a big dude, man.
And I ran through that motherfucker. I busted.
Where was this at? Was that in San Diego? Where was that?
Chicago.
I don't know how the configuration was, but in San Diego, they had enough room for the whole company to go in there at the same time.
Same way with us, too.
So we would go in there, 60 guys at the same time, line up. And in your situation, you would be in there the longest because you had to go in first and then wait till they opened the door. But they had us all line up, form up, and you could already, the situation was already getting fucked up because it was never clean. And you pulled your thing, and they would tell you first, 5th enter general order, 11th general order, 3rd general order. And remask,
general orders.
Remask, and at that point, your fucking mask was full of wasshit. So you put your mask back on, and you're already fucked. So then they would walk you out and spray you down, and it was, it wasn't. I don't think it was that brutal, but the cool thing was that if I ever wanted to consider the guys way later on that formed the security debts with the rates that came up to be MAs and things like that, those guys all had to go through the test for the pepper spray, and I would consider myself capable of taking the pepper spray because I had this gas mask experience, and I never got around to doing that, but how bad can it be? How bad can it be?
It was pretty bad, man. I did that in 2003 when I was an MA2 after I left the boat, right? And it burns.
But you knew what to expect.
I knew what to expect because at the time when they train you, you have to be able to beat someone into submission with a baton, yelling, get back, get down, get back, get down, obey the commands, and then put handcuffs on them.
While you've been sprayed.
Yes, while you're sprayed.
That's fascinating. That's amazing. That's
I eventually became an instructor for doing that.
That's incredible.
So I had to get it a couple of times. I had to get it to even use the baton, to use the OC pepper spray. Then you had to get an update every couple of years, I think, or they changed that. And then
the other thing, Rocky, is that you're in that general territory of atmosphere, so you need to like it's there. So you're training these kids and walking them through this thing, and it's in the atmosphere, and you're just like resisting it because it's your job, and they're not blasting you right in the face, but it's there,
Oh man, yeah. So I would do instructions, and we'd always do it outside, right? And we'd make sure it wasn't too hot or too bright because man, you can't see when it's bright.
What location was this? San Diego.
It was in Naval Weapons Station, Seal Beach.
Okay, all right.
But then when I was on the the Abraham Lincoln and we did OC pepper spray there, we were doing it with the hangar bays open. And there's a video of like one of my instructors. She's a senior chief now. She was a first class for me back then. She sprayed someone and the wind came and blew it all in her face.
Wow, that's the hazards, man. That's the hazard.
Yeah. But I mean, it makes you have to be able to take the pain and get through the stuff. Because
so how many times do you think you've been influenced by pepper spray in your career?
Influence, I never did anything to get in trouble.
Whoops, that shouldn't have hit me in the face.
Influenced.
7, 6, 5. I mean, you just gotta it's there. You got your hand in that guy's face. It's 2 inches away from you, really. Like if you think about it,
Been sprayed at least 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, it's exactly. And
we had
besides the training one you got in the first time to get the rate,
Yeah, what people would do is they would spray OC pepper spray in a room before you walk in it. These motherfuckers, man, these stupid MAs. Oh my gosh, I was like, what the hell?
They prepare themselves for it.
No, because they were just messing with people. Bunch of clowns.
I like dumbass Gary in the fucking taser. He tased himself to see what it felt like and bit her.
Gearing?
Gehring was by accident. I remember he was trying to clean it and he got caught by it. Now Bittner hit it in his leg and was like, it was awesome, but I ended up shitting and pissing myself. And it took me like 10 minutes before I could get back up.
Oh, man.
But I still think Gary did it on purpose too.
No, he really didn't.
You remember when he bought that ghillie suit, Jay?
Oh yeah.
When he bought he bought like a ghillie suit, like what a sniper would wear out in the field. We're like, this motherfucker never leaves the ship. So I think his personality was like the dude from Billy Madison that would put the makeup on. You know, the one that Adam Sandler's character Billy Madison fucking calls and say, "Hey man, I'm sorry for picking on you," and he crosses him off the list. Oh man, I don't know whatever happened to that dude.
Who knows? He's probably got a compound down there in Texas somewhere.
Yeah, I was gonna say he talked about getting land in Texas, and he was talking.
He bought it. He bought land.
Because he got one of the original like 50 cal BMGs, like the single shots.
Yep.
That was his thing, and he talked about sitting out there sniping people coming on his property, and I was like, all right, I'm not talking to this dude no more. And this was, oh God, how many years ago? 15, 20 almost?
Oh yeah.
Hey, 2000. When did he leave the boat? In 2000?
It was right at 2000, right after I think the
deployment.
Yeah.
I don't know if I don't know if he went in I don't even know if he ever made first class, but he was the walking, talking tech manual. I remember that.
Yep.
Oh, he was
that guy.
I mean, he do the shit, but I don't know if he did make first class or not. Did anybody in boot camp ever have a true African in their company?
No.
I did. This is where I learned that African people fucking hate American blacks.
Did you say you have a marching party? Did you ever have a marching party or a short tour? Is that was the question?
No,
well, I spilled my drink, so I'm sorry.
No, an African. Did anybody in boot camp have a true African in their company?
Oh, fuck no.
I did. No. I always wondered why he would never, because a lot of the blacks in my company always stayed their own little group, right? And an African was always around.
You're talking about a guy from like Nigeria that came over to join boot camp, or an African American dude from Chicago or something?
No, Nigeria, Africa, not these fake ass Africans.
That's fascinating.
Not the fake ass Africans.
I never really thought about that.
Oh, no, I asked him one day, just being a naive, redneck. I said, hey, I said, how come you don't get along with the black people, the blacks? He said, them motherfuckers ain't worth my time. He said, us people from Africa,
African Americans, right?
Well, yeah. Well, see, his thing was, they're fake fucking Africans. He said they wasn't born over there or nothing like that. He said they're just black. He said they're Americans.
Right.
He said now they want to take our culture, and that's what pissed him off most. And he goes, and the way they treat women too. He said, I don't like that. And even we had Jamaican in boot camp too with us.
Well, this guy, these international opportunities, the international opportunities are fantastic because the guys that got over here and made it, not necessarily the Filipino guys from that whole deal with Marcos that I talked about on episode 2. When you send money home from your job, it just supports the infrastructure support. It's incredible when you convert the money to the folks in the root countries. It's just, I think it's great, and I just don't really like how a lot of the Marcos Filipino guy Gaines took the advantage to bring their families over here, because you could have one guy make chief and have a house full of 20 people in 5 years, all from back home. The relatives, the cousins, the fucking grandparents, the parents, blah 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 blah. Blah. And still to this day, within a mile of me, we have those giant houses which everybody admires, full of, you know, 3, 4, 5 generation Filipino families from the Navy, because one fucking guy got a chance to join during the Marcos era and made Master Chief eventually, and so on. But the folks that just get a chance to get an opportunity, you know, out of nowhere on these smaller allocations of acceptance to recruitment to the armed forces in the United States, I think that's really cool. I think it's really good for them. And they don't jump right on top of it and go, oh, yeah, well, now that I'm here, my only job is to bring my whole fucking 100 family over here and take over the population. So I think that's a great thing. As long as we monitor it, and I don't think we can limit it, but I think we can, you know, I mean, the folks that are doing it are not taking advantage of it, in my opinion. That's just my opinion.
But I found that interesting because I'd never been around a true African before.
Oh, San Diego. Fuck, San Diego is like fucking, you know, so I came in 82. It's funny because I came in 82 and I was very naive. So my company commander was a guy named Duramos, and MM1 Duramos, Efren Duramos. Never met a Filipino guy in my life. I get to boot camp. My company commander is a Filipino guy, first class, right? Efren Duramos. And that guy makes chief during boot camp, goes through the chief process during boot camp. And then we graduate and leave. And then later on, I had a good buddy who was a company commander in boot camp leader previously who knew him and said that guy was going to be relieved so many times for being an incompetent company commander. And I'm like, yeah, I'm learning the whole politics of all this stuff. But then I was over in QB Point and the Philippine Islands a bunch of times, and kind of started following the whole politics with Marcos and his wife and the shoes and all this drama and yeah, I mean the battle between Marcos bribing the United States into millions, hundreds of millions of dollars to maintain this base at QB Point to because we needed it for the Vietnam War and a couple other pivotal points here. And somebody finally said, fuck you, dude. You know, we're not going to fucking do this anymore. One of the presidents, I don't remember what year it was or whatever when the decision was made, but it was probably Reagan. And Reagan said, fuck you. So they shut down the base and gradually. And then Clark Air Force Base, ironically, got destroyed by the volcano, right? And that volcano was so gigantic that it actually took over some of QB Point, and like I said in episode 3, destroyed a bunch of the warehouses. So when we finally came in there a couple last times for parts for the Navy, we got boxes of parts full of sand, or ironic sand, volcanic sand. And in the boxes, literally, you just clear it out because the roofs had collapsed on the warehouses, but we still had to clear out the warehouses. So when you came in there and ordered a part, or the whole in the Indian fleet, if you came in there and ordered a part, you would get a part from that location. And it was probably full of dirt because of the volcanoes. Absolutely fascinating. So if you ordered a fan motor for a display unit on the Combat Systems unit, OJ 197 display unit, you had to really, really be careful if it was full of dirt because all you want is to have to clean bearings, you know? You don't want fucked up shit. So, but we had to clear it out. Yeah. It's fascinating, man. Fascinating.
But I'll get back to what I was saying. I didn't realize that Africans did not like American blacks at all.
I had heard that before, but I'd never seen it in real life. And it was because there was a big culture clash.
Yeah.
And they thought that, a lot of the African American, because of rap culture and everything like that, they were demeaning themselves and not dignified. Didn't have
And
a lot
even
of self-respect.
the Jamaicans, true Jamaicans, don't like a lot of American blacks either. We had
Hey,
a Jamaican kid.
hang
We
on
had a
here.
Jamaican kid in there
Hang
too.
on here. Hang on here. You guys are aware that in the 70s, the aircraft carriers had literal race wars on the mess decks
Heard
with
about that.
fucking whites, blacks. It was like a riot on the mess decks on the aircraft carriers. I'm aware of that. I would have to research that a little bit to see exactly what happened on exactly what ship, but they had gigantic wars when the whole thing stuck out in the late 60s, 67, 68, 69, the whole world responded, and the aircraft carriers underway with these huge, well, it's a city. It's a literal city. So that stuff happened there too. Like guys throwing shit across the mess decks on the aircraft carriers and fighting each other. That was a very dark period.
But I've never seen.
Before the MCPON came in, before they made the office of MCPON.
Yeah. Before
I think the Master Chief Petty Officer of the Navy was in response to that and recruitment and all that other stuff. I remember reading a book going through.
Horrible. It was a horrible time. It was
The Winds of Change. It was a really good book too. It explained a lot of why the Navy did what it did, and it seems like in the past couple of years they went back to the way they were in the 40s and 50s and 60s, where everything went to shit. It's just
the guys got the opportunities, and it was quiet. But somehow, American society in general just, logically spread across all of America, and that included the guys on the ships. They're like, "Hey, what the fuck?" But I would have to. Here's where you need to go to the references, and then start putting references on there. So if anybody comes back with the requests for references on this podcast, they can definitely send them in, and we'll reply accordingly to make sure we got the stuff right. None of the stuff putting out of this broadcast is going to be bullshit. There's going to be something of solidity to reference it. So you guys watching the podcast, feel free to reach in there and ask more questions and ask for the solidity of references on whatever it is, to satisfy yourself that we are speaking actually what happened. The cool thing about this podcast is we're rolling through this conversation in real time, and you may want to come with me or not. You may not come with Jeffrey or not, Jason or not, and it's pretty cool. So I could have my own podcast about a space flight, and I would love to do that. But this is fascinating to be in the Navy side with you guys because we served together, so that's really cool.
Yeah. Did you guys laugh a lot in boot camp? Because I laughed. I think I laughed more in boot camp than any other time in my life.
Laugh?
Oh, yeah, man, I had some fucking silly motherfuckers, dude. Like, remember when they were telling us how to throw ropes? Heads up on pier, heads up on deck. 1, 2, 3. We would have motherfuckers that would sleep on the top bunk that would do that and throw their shit off into the ground and then do that crap. It was hilarious. Man, my division was full of clowns and funny people.
Every time I got yelled at, I start smiling and laughing every time. And then the motherfuckers would fucking, all right, they'd smoke me.
I remember I had an MMC that was a recruit division commander, right? And there was a black first class female, and she would always be flirting with this guy. She'd go, "Hey, you." Oh, man, it was funny. This dude was funny. You ever hear it? He was the one that taught me the phrase, "You guys could fuck up a wet dream." Oh, man.
Did you know what that meant at the time, though? Did you know what that meant? Because not every kid at 12 has wet dreams. I mean, not every kid 12, 13 years old even understands what that means. But
did y'all ever give anybody that really kept fucking up all the time fucking blanket party?
No.
I did it. I got short sheeted. I got short sheeted myself. Completely random. I thought I was doing good. I thought I was middle range. I thought I was like towing the line. But one night I got in my rack in San Diego and it was short sheeted. So short sheeted means that somebody's remade your bunk with your main sheet on the mattress, like in the middle of the mattress instead of where it's supposed to be. So you clearly understand when you get in your bunk at night that there's no sheet there. So somebody fucked with your sheet. To be short sheeted is to have the base sheet on the mattress pad to be brought back to half and then tucked underneath. And then you have a top sheet and then all the other stuff. Like you never knew you didn't make it yourself. But when you get it in at night, you're like, there's a message sent. So that happened to me once. And my, looking back at it 40 years later, I just think it was my turn. Something. I don't think anybody had anything against me. I was doing a good job in boot camp, but I got short sheeted one time. So that's it.
Yeah, we had to give one guy a fucking blanket party one night because everyone seen Full Metal Jacket, right?
Yep.
He was worse than Private Pile on that movie. On it. And that guy, he didn't fuck up after that again.
But wait, Jason, what rank did he wind up becoming? A machinist, mate?
I don't know. But I don't know. I after boot camp, I lost track of him.
Do you have your book from boot camp?
Huh?
So you're saying they short sheeted that guy to beat the crap out of him and bring him into compliance? Like
we called it. We still call it the blanket party. That's what we called it.
What's the movie there? I'll remember it in a second here.
Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
No, that's why I said that kid was worse than Private Pile.
What in the fuck is wrong with you, pal? Yeah, I'm about to shoot you in the heart there, company commander.
Major malfunction.
What is your major fucking malfunction? Yeah. That's it. It's so amazing. That movie is amazing. That movie's incredible, man.
Did anybody at boot camp ever have a motherfucker get out on a fucking mental discharge?
No, but
not
we
sure.
did.
No,
you know how they did back in '92 when they said zero tolerance on drugs.
Yeah,
we all took the P test when we got there, right? And then like a day or two later, I guess they did the urinalysis really quick there. We had about 7 or 8 guys get kicked out.
So where did they go? Out of the Navy.
They went back to wherever their home was.
Okay. So in 82, same thing, but they would call them the pushback. So they would push them. They would just suspend their boot camp for like a week or two. And then
in the 90s, they got the big chicken dinner. That's what they got.
No shit.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
Yeah.
I love that background, man. It's so cool.
We had one guy try to kill himself one night with try to cut his wrist with a guard belt, right? Remember those guard belts we had to wear? He was standing and watch and all that bullshit. Yeah. He got a Dear John letter. Girlfriend was fucking his best friend. And he tried to cut himself on his wrist with his guard fucking belt. I was like, dude, that ain't sharp enough to fucking do it.
There's a red pill moment for you.
And I was like, and we all tried to tell him, dude, what the fuck you doing, man? Fucking, there's more women out there. I said, just go fuck someone else.
He had the case of one-itis.
Uh-huh.
One-itis. That's probably the worst thing a guy can ever do is one-itis. There's a lot.
Yeah.
Well, for real human beings and not hardcore fucking alphas, it takes a time to go from right to left. I mean, if you guys have been married and unmarried, and you guys understand this. There's gray area out there. You can't just, hire a divorce lawyer to cover all that gray area for you. And especially if you have kids involved, it's like, it's not an easy thing to just be a alpha right off the bat all the time. What is the movie? The Great Santini, right? The movie The Great Santini. I'm not going to post a reference to that, but that's a Duvall movie, and it's a fantastic movie about a Marine Corps fighter pilot that is just a complete asshole all the time because he's a Marine Corps fighter pilot. And thank God, through that movie, he, towards the end, finds out that he's an asshole, and he's fucked everything up. And if he was a family guy, a human being, instead of being a Marine Corps fighter pilot douchebag the whole time, he would have had such a greater quality of life, with his kids and his relationships and to a certain point we are too. Whether you're an engineer or you're a snipe or you're a fucking uh, uh, deckhand guy or a fucking twidget. There's another word, twidget.
That's one of my favorite terms, twidget.
I mean, you just
fucking boat riders.
That's racism on its own right. You're all shipmates, but it's like you guys on one ship might hate each other, and your fucking ensign's a piece of shit, and and your department head's a piece of shit, and the ensigns might think their department head's a piece of shit. And yeah, it's just tough. It's tough, The only thing you really need to be ready for is when the shit hits the fan and the war starts. So guys like us are the guys who'd be there to be able to see through the ether and the fog and know that when the shit hits the fan, we are the guys left over. I know this for me as a fact, because I never ever got seasick, and I was always ready to die on a warship, no matter what came up. And I didn't expect that. I wasn't like but I'm not some chick from high school joining the Navy to hope to join some husband and find a husband and so on and so forth, and then boning somebody's chief and having a kid, and that's their career. None of that shit. It was all pure fucking. Once my dad kicked me out of the house and gave me my destiny, and I got my job done, it's like we're against Soviets, or we're against the Afghanis or whatever, Persian Gulf, whatever we got to go do. So I was talking about this the other day. Some guy posted some shit about on Instagram about following warfare commanders, and I'm like, you know what? I joined in '82 and I left in 2012, and we had to put up with fucking Obama, and we had to put up with fucking Democrat, the fucking cheaters and all these other shithead fucking Democrats, Clinton. But if you're a warfighter and you made your oath, you do your fucking job. You can't just sit around bitching about. It was a post about some guy bitching about, thank God I'm not working under so on and so forth anymore, And it's like an E6 guy in the Army. I was like, dude, you're fucked up, You take your oath and you stick with it, And it doesn't fucking matter who gets elected. Your oath is your oath. If that dude tells you to go do this, you fucking go do this, and do your best. And if you die, you die. If you don't, you don't. So,
hey, did anybody in boot camp have at the closing ceremony, right, when we graduated? Did anybody have anybody fall out in their division because they locked their knees? You did. Did they?
Did the captain, the CO presiding over the command, say, if any of you fuckers want to walk out right now, you can? Did he do that?
Mine did on it.
Yeah.
Now,
That's right.
Walter, did they when that guy fell out, did they fucking take care of him, or they just continued the ceremony like nothing happened?
Foreman drug his ass. Actually, it was two of them. Drug his ass and her ass to the back of the wall, and then set them down. So they weren't inside, like out of sight, out of mind. All you seen was like the flag doing this, and that bitch went whoa, and hit the ground like completely out. Wham! It was like and like nobody really like looked because if you look, you're gonna notice it in the crowd. Like as soon as you shift your head, it's gonna look all wonky. So everybody just kept looking forward. But we heard the thing flat. You could see it out of the corner of your eye. At least I did.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna close that on boot camp. And you talk about military bearing, with the guy falling out right there, we kept their head straight. Look at that Marine that was supposed to hold that door open at the inauguration, and the fucking flag took his fucking cover. Made it come up like this. And everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people were fucking ragging on that guy, for not fixing his cover. He kept his military bearing during that whole ceremony.
Yeah, I don't like people that gatekeep any of this shit, old timers and all of that shit, man. It's annoying. I mean, I see stuff now and it drives me nuts. Like if I go to the commissary or the next, but it's like I'm fucking retired, man. Like if that's how they want to act, and that's nothing I can do about it. You know what I mean? Like they're not gonna give two shits about what I have to say if they don't give a shit to fix themselves. So,
well, and even when you was fucking active duty too, if they wasn't on your command, who gives a fuck what they're doing?
Yeah, I don't.
As long as they ain't breaking a law or something or tearing stuff up, who cares?
Yeah, I never believed in any of that shit.
I had to learn a real different lesson when I went to Guantanamo Bay.
Yeah, I can see that.
That place was everyone that was on the base, everyone knew who was coming. And I knew the people that knew everyone who was coming because you had to get entry clearance and theater clearance and all that other shit, right? I ended up working with those people because of my job. And we had to learn how to mind your fucking business. Because what would happen is they had a club there called the Windjammer. We called it the Cock Jammer because it was mainly a bunch of guys. And the girls that were like a 2 in the United States would have been a Gitmo 8, She was pretty because that was all we saw. And I remember one time I had a buddy of mine and he went to the Windjammer because they had a restaurant there with his family. And one of our sailors in security was doing something and they had a drunk incident. Our chain of command tried to bust him because he didn't intervene, even though he was in the building in a different part with his family. So we developed the culture there where you just went home after work and shut the front door.
Yeah, that bystander intervention when they started putting that shit together and started really hitting it hard.
And then the command I went to after that was Bahrain, and I would do the same thing because the chiefs would be mad because I wasn't a chief at the time. They're like, "Why aren't you guys going out there and policing the E4s and all that stuff?" We're like, "So we can get in trouble? Are you kidding me? Why am I going to go out there? I'm not going to go spend a bunch of money and then go get in trouble. I'm trying to save money."
Take your happy ass out there.
Yeah, and like you end up finding out that some of the guys that I worked for, they got busted for fraternization. I didn't know that at the time. I found that out later, about a week ago, when I talked to a shipmate that worked for me there. And then I met her again on the Abraham Lincoln, but she was leaving at the time. It was crazy.
Well, and that's when they even closed down the fucking base bar there when you was there, right?
What, in
Bahrain.
Yeah. Well, no. Well, they had a Chiefs Club, so you could go drink at the Chiefs Club.
But I'm talking about for enlisted, that was shut down by then, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember there being a club there for us, but you could go do like brunches and all that stuff on days where you didn't work. And those were pretty fun, but man, it was like $100 American. It equated to $100 day.
See, that was always a good time going to fucking Bahrain. I can't remember what they called the club, the base bar, right? That was always a good time. Yeah, Desert Dome. That's what it was. That was
Oh,
always good.
welcome to Thunderdome, bitch.
But
Run the Cokes for like $2 a pop.
and they wonder, people, they probably got tired of alcohol incidents, right? That's why they took it out, right? But yet, that should prove to them they're still getting in trouble without the alcohol.
Oh man, a lot of crazy incidents happened in Bahrain. Like Bahrain was on lockdown for the most part, even before I got there, because of that whole incident with the kennel, that military working dog kennel, where the girl killed herself because she took the blame when the senior chief was doing like all kinds of weird stuff, and they were doing like sexual fucking torture kind of crap. Like it's bad. It was bad that happened. So by the time I got there, they had the whole alcohol point thing. Like you had a certain amount of alcohol. You could buy alcohol, right? But you couldn't go above the points they gave you for every month.
Yeah, they ration them out.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, if I drank anywhere, I usually drank at home alone on a day off. You know, it was like what George Thorogood, I drink alone. You know? Yeah.
Actually, what they ended up doing in Bahrain is when they built the complex and the barracks and everything, they kind of combined all that area. I mean, the Desert Dome was still there. It turned into a stage because when I was coming across from the Middle East going back stateside, I had to stay there for 2 weeks, and they had like live bands playing, and you could still get just as toasted as we used to.
By the time I got back out there, the Desert Dome was just like an empty place where we would do quarters
Yeah,
for my division, right?
yeah,
And everything they created like a mall where they had like a souk and everything like that, and the movie theater was there. So I ended up seeing Man of Steel and Iron Man 3 and a bunch of movies like that when I was out there. Like I think I saw The Dark Knight Rises,
yeah.
the last Christian Bale Batman movie out there.
75 times.
Yeah, so I mean, it was different back then. And I remember they had that whole incident when I was in Atsugi where the guy found his girlfriend with another girl and then he shot her, shot the girls, and then he shot himself. Man, just some crazy stuff going out there. It was like you mix boys and girls together. What do you expect's going to happen? There's going to be jealousy. There's going to be love spats. There's going to be all kinds of drama that really impedes what you're supposed to be doing out there. And that was all the MA stuff.
Oh, off topic. Did you see that Trump just signed that he's going to release JFK's files?
Yeah. We just talked about it. Like I saw it on Twitter.
Yeah. This
About
should get
time.
really interesting.
It's about time that shit got released.
You're going after the CIA for real, man.
Well, everyone knows the CIA killed Martin Luther King. They labeled him as a fucking terrorist. Everyone knows that fucking Kennedy was killed by CIA using mob fucking resources because they had mob and CIA work together in World War II and in Cuba too.
Yeah.
So, and LBJ, he was part of that bullshit too.
LBJ!
Because he wanted power.
Going back a few weeks.
But now Hessek, he's supposed to be voted on tomorrow for confirmed tomorrow, hopefully.
We'll see.
I hope it fixes the military, man.
There's a lot of work to do with the military because there's a lot of rot that's been going on for a lot of years, and it's been going through OCS school. So it's not going to be easy because there's a lot.
I honestly think the rot started with affirmative action.
You fire all those officers in OCS school, you fire them all.
By the time we came in, the affirmative action thing where, you had to promote so many people of this color and this religion and this race and this sex, instead of why not just promote people that do a good job and earn the next rank?
Yeah.
Because they become good leaders and they know how to manage people and lead them into success. That's what it should have been the whole freaking time.
And that's what you're seeing now. I mean, you see it. California is a perfect example of the wildfires. They're going to get mad, but it's like you put people in not based on merit as a meritocracy, and this is what you end up with.
I honestly think meritocracy is probably the fairest way to be.
It is. There's no
Like,
no
to be
judge of
honest,
anything.
you get promoted on your merit, on how good you do in all categories and aspects of being a firefighter or a sailor or a Marine or whatever, right?
Yeah.
You get promoted based on how good you do.
And that works the same way in the civilian world. When I
It
got
should
out,
work that way.
I
It
seen
should work that
guys
way everywhere.
with no fucking qualifications get on the fucking power plant, with that because they knew somebody high up. They had no qualifications for the job they was put in for. I mean, they had been good workers, don't get me wrong, but they should have never been hired before other people that had qualifications.
And the movie that brought this up in this point, which is kind of scary, is American History X dealt with firefighters. Remember, there's the scene where he's talking about affirmative action to Derek about this. And then in the next scene, he gets shot as a firefighter. And then that's where they got from. So it's kind of crazy that they've based it off of firefighters themselves. And you keep hearing about it from now because I'm in firefighter classes and you hear a lot of guys talk about it. Not so brazen, but it's subtly talked about, about having people that aren't qualified, bringing in these people. So,
Yeah, I mean, because you're going to get more people hurt and killed and injured that way.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you just put the people that are built and meant to do the job. It's like not everyone's going to be a world champion.
You mean that fat bitch, that 225-pound bitch in the $750,000 a year job said, you don't want me, you want me to come to you because if you are in that situation, then you fucked up. So
yeah, she's not the commissioner. She was regular.
She was a water
it's
person.
your fault you got in that situation.
Well, yeah, I mean that is a plain case of woke effeminist ideology.
Psycho, man.
Well, that's effenism, man.
You want a dyke crew cut girl to come visit your house because you have an emergency and you want people to come to your house that look like you. But if you ever really have an emergency, it's your fucking fault. So I'm not going to come get you. So it's your fault. Your house is burned down and you're in a wheelchair and you're disabled and you're 75 years old or 85 years old. And so just die. So because it's your fault.
Hey, keep it rolling. I got to take River something to his balls. I'll be right back. Keep it rolling.
Okay. Be careful, bro.
We're not going to stop just because you're not here.
So, I mean, like, I remember seeing this crap all the time. I was like, how do these people get promoted?
Real.
And I'm just like, this is not right. I mean, they tried to make it fair and it became more unfair.
And we're not trying to be like racist or whatever you call it, anti whatever the fuck you want to be stuff here. It's like if you're in the job because you got hired because you're a DEI employee at $750,000 a year or $500,000 a year, we just want you to do the job. But if you fuck up, then
I think the problem is when they mess up and they make mistakes, they don't own their mistakes.
Right.
They blame someone else for it instead of taking accountability.
That's right.
And I think that's what drives me crazy about it. Like I get upset about it because it's like every time I made a mistake, I had to look that mistake in the mirror, because I made the mistake, and I had to live with that mistake and the consequences that followed afterwards.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you can't just blame someone else because you didn't do your job right. And that kind of thing, I don't understand it. I don't understand how people can keep their jobs when they keep on blaming someone else for their mistakes. They should have been fired a long time ago. And
I'll tell you what,
fire thing is probably going to be a big eye opener on that because now 10,000 acres have been burned.
There's a new fire now that's going up.
One?
Yeah, there's a new one that's out there. The new one that's only 14% contained.
The Hughes fire,
Yeah.
Hughes fire, they call it. I don't even know the fucking name on that one, but I'll tell you what, guys. You know, I'm from Massachusetts, and I've been living in San Diego for a long, long time, and try not to get the politics to get to me because we pay real estate values for the weather. And I have some properties here, so.
Oh, what happened?
I don't know. His phone either died or the internet or his signal's gone.
Yeah, my signal's been acting weird today too.
Well, you guys froze on me for about 10 seconds when I was talking earlier, and I got an internet unstable message.
Yeah, you guys were sounding like the Matrix. Remember in the Matrix where it's that weird electrical sound? It sounded like that for a little bit. But
But
yeah,
yeah, going on with like we were saying, accountability, like everybody finds another reason that it's not their fault. Oh, I'm the victim here. Like, no, you've put thousands and thousands of people displaced, and you're not gonna take accountability for it. I mean,
yeah,
that's why you're in that position. That you're the fall guy. That's why you get paid that much money.
yeah, exactly. I mean, that person that had the $750,000 a year, I think that was the person that managed the water, right?
Yeah, it was like water and emergency or energy management. I think it was all water.
Yeah, and like, how do you not have water? Like, there are ways to make water. The ocean's right there.
Yeah.
Like, the whole coast of California is water.
Well, and their mountain runoffs, dude, for the winter and rain is ridiculous. Like they get a lot of fucking water out there. Like
I
people
know.
don't realize that how much water California actually
What's
gets.
crazy is they always are going through droughts.
Yeah,
And I have a theory on why they go through droughts, but I'm not going to talk about it right now. But it's an interesting theory, and it was brought up by someone that was a politician a few years back.
gotcha.
And it was actually a female politician, if I remember correctly. And I was like, well, that does kind of make a lot of sense. But yeah, the DEI, I hope the DEI thing goes away for good and they just promote people on their merit. I mean, can you do the job or not?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it is. Can you do what's required and excel? That's the big thing. Can you excel at it? Can you get better at it? So that way, when it's your time to get promoted, you know what it takes. And then the person that takes your place as you move on up can do your job and excel at it too.
Right.
That's the way it should have been, right? Train your fucking relief. Remember how many times they told you as chiefs or whatever, you train your relief? Yeah, that's your whole job is to train people to take your place because you're not going to be there forever.
Right. Right. That was one of my big arguments when I had to go like emergency leave and
Uh-huh.
start to realize like, you guys say you can't run without one person. Like, that's a fucking problem. If you can't run an engine room or engineering the steam underway without one person, we got problems. That means you need to be doing more training. Because I've trained my replacement. My replacement can take my spot. You're just fucking scared because you don't want other people doing my job. Like you don't want to let me go. Like, well, too fucking bad. You got to deal with it. That happened when my mom was sick. She was in the hospital, and they're like, they didn't want to grant me emergency leave. So I talked to Mike, which was the CMC at the time, and he was like, "Oh, these guys don't want to make a fucking decision. Cool, I'll do it. I'll call you back, Matt." So he goes up, he talks to the captain, calls me back, and he's like, "Don't worry about it. If you need to talk to the captain," he said, "give him a call." So I gave him a call. Captain was like, "You're good to go. Don't worry about nothing. We got this. Take care of your mom." You know what I mean? Like, it's ridiculous the amount of people that can't do the fucking job sometimes. And then they're scared. Those are the people in charge, like, scared to go talk to the captain and tell him, his mom's in the hospital. He needs an extra week to stay behind to get, paperwork together because, we're executors. Me and my brother are executors. So it's like, I have paperwork to go. She actually passes away, or we gotta put her down and out of her misery. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
how hard is it? You that scared? Like, why are you in that job then? Why in that position?
I had a situation like that in Bahrain when I was the ATLPO. I had to train a girl, and I trained her to the best of my ability, and they would still email me after I left. But while I was there, we took like I think it was like 800 to 1,000 page AT plan, a lot of crap, and we chopped it down to like 350 page, like about 300 pages.
Yeah.
We just put, this is what you're going to do. This is the training. This is the requirements. This is what you do in this situation and that situation. And we did a good job. I mean, and then after I started learning that more, everybody that worked for me, I trained them to be able to operate without me. And it worked out good when I went home in 2012 because a lot of crazy stuff happened while I was at home in the States in Bahrain, to say the least. It was kind of crazy when I came back because our command was they were fucking up in arms about everything.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was interesting time.
Yeah. I couldn't even imagine how much the money these people are making and the funding, and California especially has been known. I wish Joe was here. The amount of federal funding they always put in every year for these wildfires. And they're like, when are you going to get the hint? Which is what Trump was talking about. I don't like not spending federal money, but
That's why they invented the Doge thing,
yeah,
because it really, you would think that the IG would be doing that,
yeah,
the Inspector General or whatever, right? They should be the one that's Doge. Like Doge should be part of them or over them, and that they're just a specific branch that takes all the complaints about fraud, waste, and abuse, because that all falls under fraud, waste, and abuse, in my opinion.
yeah.
I mean,
Well, and that's crazy because, like, whenever, we've talked about, I was going through legal for emergency management. You go for a grant, your line items, that line item, that money goes to that specific piece of equipment. If you're caught using the amount of money somewhere else in that grant, that's fraud, waste, and abuse, and you can be arrested for it. California wants their blank check so they can cover up the debt they're in that they've been spending on all these projects.
what projects? I mean, like, you go look, like, you see videos of that place now, Frisco, the big cities, they're all tent cities, homeless people everywhere. I mean, it's not as crazy as like Philadelphia, where you see people like drugged on the street, just like in these weird positions that don't even look like they're humanly possible.
Kingsington. Yeah. I knew a guy that was from there. He was a GSE. Actually, he was a CB and had to cross over to GSE. That was the maddest motherfucker ever. But he's from there, Kensington Avenue. And he said even when he was growing up, it was that bad. You know what I mean? It was always, that area's always been that way.
With
Like
drugs,
fighting for your life every day.
that ain't no way to live, man.
No, that's why I joined the Navy. But yeah, I mean this money, like they need to be going after it. Like a lot of that money they say they're spending on these projects is going in somebody's pocket. You know it is. Can you find it? Nah, it's going through a shell corp. You ain't gonna, and if it's in the shell corp under an LLC, you just shut down the LLC, you can't sue anybody on it, and you move on. It's the easiest thing to do because me and my brother looked at business stuff. So we know, he knows the ins and outs of LLCs and shell corps, and that's exactly what they're doing. All under S corps and LLCs.
Because Biden helped them set it up, probably.
Oh yeah. Yeah. These guys know what's going on. He's been in what? Congress, or been in DC for what? 50 fucking years?
49 years, actually. 49 years.
Yeah. Career politician, and you've made how many millions of dollars? Like, get the fuck out of here.
Just like Pelosi. She's the queen of fucking selling stocks at the perfect time.
The thing that they think she's the one that coordinated the January 6th thing.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I wonder if that's true. We'll find out eventually, hopefully.
Well, she's in charge because she was House Speaker. She was in charge of the Capitol Police, which is part of her job, and stood all down. Instead of the DC mayor took, the National Guard and said, no, we're not sending them. And Nancy Pelosi took that down too. So both of them like together in that area. Like I don't even know how DC makes a decision on that. They're not a fucking state. They're not anything. They're not supposed to be anything at all.
District of Columbia, just like the Vatican City.
Yeah.
They're part of they're actually part of the Roman Empire. That's why when you go out there, everything looks like Rome. That goddess on top of the Capitol building, I think that's Columbia. And she's another version of Isis and Ishtar from the Middle East, dude. So, like the military, I think the military branch is DC, the religious branch is the Vatican City, and then the financial branch is London. And they all have obelisks. We could talk about that one day.
Oh, and yeah, you forgot one. China's manufacturing. That's a big one outside of the obelisk and shit, but they're tied in for manufacturing. But you're right. Like London is taking care of finances, and we take care of military.
So it's like, I wonder how many people are starting wars just to make more money for London and then
That's
take
a
over.
deep one, dude.
Huh?
That's a long, deep one.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about that another day. Put it on the list of topics to talk about someday.
Let me pull up Word really quick and start writing it down. There's like 50 other topics.
Yeah.
Which is why you could literally do this like every fucking day except for, the weekend. And you could do it as a job. You're not making any money, but if you're talking, there's tons of topics to talk about, which is good.
Well, just like fucking Elon Musk, them fucking saying he did the Hitler fucking salute.
Man, Israel just defended him on that too. They just put a public statement out like, no, and he's a really good friend because we get a lot of money from him.
I mean, if you watch that inauguration part, right, the parade, when he was just doing this from the heart.
Yeah.
That he wasn't doing this, people. This the hell Hitler side.
Yeah, it's like out like this, like.
Actually, I think that thing is actually the Roman salute.
Yes, it is because Mussolini, the Nazis copied it from Mussolini.
Yeah, Roman Empire, man. That tells you who's still in charge.
Well, you talk about the Nazis, right? The Nazi symbol, you look back at all these ancient civilizations, right? That swastika is in a lot of them. So the Nazis just took it and used it for evil.
It was a Hindu symbol, and it meant good luck. It was reversed. They reversed it and turned it.
So they reversed it or inverted it or whatever, and that became the Nazi symbol, right?
Yeah, they took a lot of Germanic and Norse rune writing and things like they didn't invent any of their culture like the Nazis did. They took everything from around the world and turned it into their own.
I think what they did was they got it from the Theosophy and the Vril Society. If you guys know what Theosophy and Vril and all of that, it's all tied into that stuff.
Heinrich Himmler was a big part of the Vril.
Yeah. Like we could find a girl that was a Vril person that channeled like the information on how to make a plane or a rocket or a laser or whatever. Like that stuff is still out there. They haven't removed it yet, but there's coming a time when that stuff's going to be removed unless they just don't censor anything anymore.
Well, and there's a parody movie or a movie series called Iron Sky, and I watched it, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, and the main enemy in there is an alien race named Vrils. And it's a pretty interesting movie, even though it's like cheesy. If you watch it, you kind of like get, Hollow Earth, Center of the Earth, Shangri-La, moon base like conspiracies all kind of wrapped up in this comedy movie. But it's really funny when we're talking about the Vril Society, and the name of the race is called the Vril. And where they?
Well, yeah, were they reptilian?
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, I mean, because like all of that stuff comes from that. Like,
yeah.
Did they show what they looked like as reptilians? How many wings did they have? Were they serpents of fire? What?
No, they were just regular serpents that were cannibals. Like not cannibals, but meat eaters. And they were still using like old technology. It's you'd have to watch it. It's pretty funny. But then they pull out their ship and they're fighting, everybody else. So
Yeah.
it's funny to watch. It's really, like maybe B horror, maybe getting into C sci-fi shit. So it's really, really not the greatest, but it talks about a lot of those things with the Nazis. So it's stuff that you see in conspiracy theories, and they turn it into a script. So
It's so interesting. Like that one book. Let me show you this book real quick. This book is pretty amazing, actually.
Larry, what did I miss?
nothing.
Nothing.
No, we were just talking about accountability and people in charge getting paid money. Oh yeah.
Y'all Sox fish. Yep.
It's so crazy. Like the author Jim Wilhelmsen. This is a pretty awesome book, man. But yeah, like he talks about the hollow earth and all that stuff and the black sun, the order of the black sun, all that stuff. Like everything is connected. And it's like I said before, everything's almost everything we talk about is interconnected in one way or another.
Yeah.
And one way or another, it's weird.
It's woven.
Yeah. And once you see it all, it's a really big picture and you start to, oh man, that's connected to this, that, this, and that.
Yeah, and then it becomes, well, how deep do I want to go in this rabbit hole, or do I just stick my head back in the sand and leave it alone?
You keep going. Fuck it. Just keep going.
Yeah, like I was watching a video earlier today, and it's about the Tartarian Empire and the mud floods. And like I didn't realize this, but Cabbage Patch Kids come from like the 1800s.
Damn, I didn't realize they're that old.
Yeah, like well, the Cabbage Patch Kids and like they were growing babies in tubes and all kinds of shit. Like I don't even know where to go with that. It's so crazy.
A head of lettuce, basically, is the design.
And in the back, the guy that's talking, that's getting interviewed, he has a map of the world and it has Hyperborea on it and Tartaria, which both of them, you think of Hyperborea, that's like Conan the Barbarian, right? Or something like that.
Yeah, Hyperion.
And I think I said the name wrong. And then, the Tartarians or the Tartars, I mean, they're mentioned in other books. So it's really weird because there's like a weird report that the CIA and the KGB erased the Tartarian Empire from the history books.
Yeah, there's another book out too that they were doing. Oh, I think it was part of Project or Majestic 12 stuff when they rattled off all the styles of all the different species of aliens that were out there.
Oh yeah, and one of them looks like a Bigfoot.
Yeah, and there was another one like the Norse gods had all the depictions of like the Norse people and reptilians, and there was a few other ones. So people that
there's a crazy movie that shows a lot of that stuff. It's that movie with the girl that she played Meg's voice in The Family Guy. I forget her name.
Mila Kunis.
There's a movie and she's like the main character and she's like some kind of immortal queen and she doesn't know it. And it has like almost the gray aliens, the reptilians.
Jupiter Ascending.
Yeah. It's quite interesting. It's not the best movie in the world, but it has a lot of strange stuff in it. If you
Well,
know,
yeah, like the harvesting thing of humans and beings and the empire, the galactic empire. And then you see a lot of different species of aliens. Old boy had like wolf ears and shit, you know what I mean? Had wolf characteristics, which would make sense about werewolves.
Yeah, werewolf, dogman.
Mm-hmm.
There are some ancient paintings of people that look like they're priests and they got dog faces.
Yeah, Anubis.
Well, no, not just Anubis, but this is like in the Middle Ages, like the times that you would say like King Arthur and Robin Hood lived.
Well,
You know,
that's where the term dog-faced warriors come from too.
yeah. And then like even in the Bible, there's the lion men of Moab that looked like lions. Like they were the fucking Thundercats.
Lido, ah!
Like, and there is an angel called Ariel, and Ariel in Hebrew, I think, means lion.
I have to look.
And it's
Oh.
just interesting that if you know what you're reading in certain books, they're giving you descriptions, and you have to do the research to figure out what they're actually talking about.
Well, and like they
It'll
say,
go over your head.
no matter the folklore, there's always a seed of truth in folklore. Because
Yeah, folklore, myth, legends. Yeah,
there's always something there that gives you where they started from because they actually seen something. These people didn't make up stories. They were storytellers to pass it down. So yeah, it might have got a little twisted, but interpretations are what they are, but there's still a grain of truth in there somewhere.
yeah, there is. There is. All right. So what's the next topic, boys? What do you guys want to talk about now?
Doesn't matter to me, man.
Better be. Oh fuck, what was it?
I mean, I got about another 20 minutes and I gotta start dinner.
Yeah, I gotta do that too though. So,
Well, if you guys want to end it here, we can end it here, and we can just talk.
I mean, we
Talk
can because I'm just gonna redefine my barbecue pasta with I'm gonna use Kinder's Japanese barbecue sauce
Mhm.
with some of that fucking mid local honey. There's a smoked paprika chill powder in there.
Yeah.
And see how that works with it.
Yeah, you need to send me some of your aunt and uncle's honey, man.
I won't be able to get none until this coming season.
Yeah, next season.
I told my mom, I said, you tell them I want fucking 6 fucking pints of that shit.
Yeah.
If I get the 6 pints or 4 pints, at least 4, I'll send you one.
All right, sounds good.
I can't guarantee like this year's was fucking dark, right?
Yeah.
Like the year before it was light. So I like the dark better, actually.
Yeah, I fucked up. I didn't cover my barrel. And I got so much snow on the lid of that thing, dude. It means it's gonna drip down. The water's gonna make that ash fucking like rock.
Well, get that fucking clean out tool that I got from Gateway
Yeah.
that actually scrapes that bitch.
Yeah, I need last time like when I was cleaning it out, it was like fucking concrete, dude. Because when it burns down, it's so fine, with those briquettes. And if it gets wet, the moisture, it's concrete.
On it. I did get a little water in the fucking the Gateway, the new one.
Yeah.
Top because I forgot to cover it because I left it. It's not as half of it was on, underneath the cover on the back porch. Half of it was. So the wind was blowing just right. I left the top fucking flap open. So water got down in there, which I just burnt it out. So I did. But luckily, there wasn't no ash in there to make that shit like concrete.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing what ash, like, people were building with that shit. When you figure it out, like, yeah, I could actually make concrete, like a style of concrete, and put stuff together with it. Just ash.
Well, hell, the fly ash from the power plant, byproduct of burning the coal on Unit 3 when it's pulverized.
Yeah.
University of Missouri was making bricks out of that shit.
Mm-hmm.
And that shit actually worked.
Yeah. It's like trying to rediscover Roman concrete.
Yeah.
And shit's still standing to this day.
Because every day we got trucks coming in every day from concrete companies, all that brick companies, just to get that fly ash. I mean, we sell it by the truckloads.
Yeah. And see, that's what people don't talk about on coal burning is like there's waste disposal that's being used from the coal being burned. It's recycling.
And also, like on units 1 and 2 we had, which were old units, right? Because they were the coal was just crushed up in a crusher house that sit in, to a hopper. And then hopper fed right into the burners, right? So we had to have slag tanks, grind all that fucking slag up, shooting out the pond. Well, we sell that shit to roofing companies, the ones that make the shingles, and to the state, because state puts that on the roads in the wintertime too, mix it with salt and all that. So I mean, there's lots of byproducts that can be used.
That's what needs to be talked about. Like, we know that we need coal to make energy, but it's like, okay, let's talk about the byproducts and actually sell it for the environment instead of just talking about the CO2 emissions. It's like, well, we're lessening it because our waste is becoming products that can be used. Yeah. I think that needs to be thrown in there.
But I mean, a lot of the like big power plants, like the one I worked at, they did that, but small ones, like the cities would have, right? They wouldn't do that shit because they didn't have enough really to sell. Yeah. We had 3 units. One, the unit 3 was, what the fuck was it? 800 megawatts per hour. Unit 1, the smallest one, was 350 megawatts, and unit 2 was around 500 megawatts at peak. But we didn't always was at peak because dispatcher down in Springfield, Missouri, would say, "Hey, I'm gonna take you down, so you need to come down because fucking roof and line." Because we sold power everywhere. Mm-hmm. We even sold power in Tennessee because we actually had another power plant in New Madrid, Missouri, too. I mean, we sent power all over the United States because we was the only fucking co-op that still had permission, had their own transmission lines. Like people talk about Tennessee Valley TVA, right? Tennessee.
Yeah.
That was government run. The transmission lines. The government could tell us to shut down at all.
Yeah.
But we maintain their shit too, though.
Smaller plants, man. There should be a coalition to gather up all of their waste materials into the large side to go out. You know what I mean? Like that you should be able to get a grant from the city, or the state itself, or federal, like, hey, we need money for transportation. We're going to put together this and, whatnot, because I thought about the same thing, like the roads, man. Why isn't there like private companies out there picking up trash? You're looking for volunteers. It's like, if you start a company, you get the grant, you get money from the city. You start there and actually cleaning up the fucking streets and shit. Not just run a fucking street sweeper whenever you want to, but actually road crews that you run as a company.
See, here in mid-Missouri, we use the prisoners for that. Prisoners on good behavior.
Yeah, I know. I understand that. Using slave labor, but, you could actually, I think you could get a business going with it. If you had it, the city would back it, you'd have to charge in order to keep it going. But
that's what that business model right there would be perfect. Fucking California, whether it be LA, fucking San Francisco, right? Would be perfect for that, or even Philadelphia too. Clean streets up.
Did you guys see that incident of the female cop that pulled the gun out of a guy's holster that pulled over and she shot his leg?
Yep. Sure did.
That's another DEI thing, I think. What about keeping your finger straight and off the trigger?
Yeah, she shot him with his own gun. Like, she was trying to pull it out.
Yeah.
Got a hold of the trigger and pulled it. Like, do you not know how to grab a gun out of the handle? Like,
that's why you never, ever, people, carry, if you're in your vehicle, right, you never have it in the holster on you. You always have it in a holster in the console right there, right? Or right next to you. So that way, they can see it. Every time I get pulled over, I put the gun on top of the dash.
Yeah.
So that way they can fucking see it.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to have, if I get pulled over and I get pulled out, I'm not going to have them motherfuckers touching my fucking gun, my weapon, period. Yeah, I had that happen one time when I first got my carry concealed, and I made that mistake. I let the motherfucker touch my weapon. And I had the good rounds in there, and he took them. But I got him back, but I had to raise hell with the fucking chief of police, too, to get the motherfucker back, too. Because he emptied the motherfucker just to get the good rounds because he didn't want to buy them for his own gun. That's why you never do it, because that way That motherfucker did to himself, really, I think.
I think she I don't know, man.
I mean, it was wrong what she did, right? But he also could have said, no, I don't have a weapon on me, because she pulled him out for that reason. Of what I saw, anyways.
Just messed up, man. It's sad that even happened. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're going to suspend her.
Fuck that bitch, y'all need to be fired. That's suspended, fired.
They're looking for termination now.
If they're going to clean up the police officers, they're going to have to start holding them more accountable. But who knows how that's going to go?
Well, it all depends on if there's a good old boy system or not.
You know, there always is.
Oh, yeah. Because I remember, what was this, 2012 or 2013 in Mobley, not, where I grew up at. The fucking cops tased this fucking poor kid to death after a traffic stop. And the reason they pulled him over, because that kid was dating one of the cop's ex-girlfriends, and that cop did not like it. So they made a false traffic stop, and the kid didn't go roll his window down at all. He didn't have to, because they could still talk, converse, and they would not tell him what he got pulled over for. He goes, no, I ain't roll my shit down. And they broke his window, dragged him out, handcuffed him, and then fucking tased him multiple times, not just once, multiple times. And the kid got killed, and then city got fucking sued on that one because the Highway Patrol did the investigation on it, and they had to say the cops are in the wrong. And the cops, I think they did some jail time too over that shit. But that family said good pretty for the rest of their fucking life now. I mean, it's sad that kid got killed. I knew that kid too. He's a pretty good kid. He did come from a fucked up family, but he was actually pretty good, straight and narrow. But those cops, they had to move out of Mobley area quick too. Before they went to trial, because their heads, there was a reward out for somebody to fucking take them out for that. But that gets down to that small town politics bullshit too.
Oh, this is going on too in Boston. Federal agents are carrying out raids and arresting people in apartments across Boston, even though it's a sanctuary city. What do you think about this? I think it's good. Get rid of the illegals.
Yeah, did you see that woman Haitian they fucking had there? Because Fox was covering this one. The Haitian goes, I ain't going back to Haiti. Yeah, you are, motherfucker.
No, even though it's a sanctuary city like the ICE, like they were saying in that Fox report, it doesn't matter if they're a sanctuary city. They're still going to go in and take them. What the sanctuary city is they don't have to hold them for ICE. Like they don't have to do what's it called? Something like detain them. It's got a specific word. They don't have to follow that. But ICE can do their raids. It doesn't matter. They can't stop them. They just won't. What they're saying is not cooperating is they're not going to hold them in custody until ICE shows up. They're going to let them go. And they're not going to give them any information on who they have that they know that they have.
See,
but
they can't stop ICE from going in there because the states fucked up decades ago by giving up a lot of their power to the federal government for federal funding. People forget this shit. At one point, the federal government could not tell the states what the fuck to do. But the states gave it up. So now the federal government could come in pretty much anytime they want now.
Right. No, it's all in that federal funding, man, because that's already been said. Like, we're gonna, redact your federal funding, by not following federal laws. So,
see, if Missouri did lose the federal funding when the ATF tried to fucking people who have tried to get the records of everyone in Missouri that has carry concealed permit, right? And started fucking with these the gun dealers, right? The legal gun dealers. And states said, "No, fuck you." They lost some of their fucking funding because of that. But the sheriffs and all that was not going to let that happen. Okay, if we lose some of our funding, fine. We'll find a way to make that up. Too.
Yeah, because the sheriff's department has a lot of power.
The sheriff actually has more in their county. Mm-hmm. They can tell anybody technically go fuck off.
Yeah,
because that's their county, and they was elected to protect that county.
Yeah, they have a lot more power than, and that's what people were saying a few years back. Like, the county sheriffs were standing up like in Florida and shit like that. Like, no, we're doing it this way, and you can't tell us any different. And there were sheriffs in Texas for the illegals, like, no, I don't give a fuck what you say. We're gonna do it our way. And then
as a whole state together to get that funding without losing anything, they got to abide by what the federal government wants too. Sometimes keep that funding. If not, they're going to lose it. I'm sure Texas lost some funding. I know Texas don't give a fuck.
Well, and I know the state fundings, like a lot of states, me and other people talk in different states. Most of the state generates almost all the income they need. They hardly ever need anything truly from the federal government. It's inside entities like the Board of Education, in Virginia. They take federal funding. You know what I mean? Like, because of that whole group, that federal group that's across the board for every public school. So, the state provides enough. I know, in Indiana, they're giving money back to people, and then they still got enough to go to the federal government to cover every other state. That's the whole thing, is every state's putting in to be divided out. Well, it's getting to the point where states are like, we don't want to give any more money to you guys because you're sending blank checks to California and every other stupid thing in there. And I agree with it. Like all of that shit, like you should lose funding for certain things like sanctuary cities because you're knowingly harboring a fugitive, because everybody that's illegal is a criminal, regardless of what you want to believe. You're breaking the law. Simple as that. Doesn't matter if you commit crimes like murder, theft, or any of that. You've already committed a crime by illegally coming here.
Exactly. And that's why I support Trump's right to end anchor babies, right?
Yeah.
Everyone wants to talk about, well, he's like, us Americans, right? If we have kids, right, they're going to lose that. No, he's talking about the motherfuckers coming here, having a baby, and saying, my kid's American citizen now.
Yeah.
Because that 14th Amendment, I think it is, there's a loophole in there, too. You got to be already, the parents have to be natural born citizen already.
So the 14th Amendment was done for the Civil War when they freed all the slaves.
Slaves, yes.
Yeah,
but they also put language in there, too, that it's just for certain things.
Yeah.
Certain people, not for everybody.
Yeah, it was what Joe was talking about, like the Filipinos.
Yeah.
It's all similar. Like you come over, you get American citizenship, and then from there, when you have children, they're American citizens. They become generations of citizens, just like everybody else that immigrated to the United States years and years ago. Anybody that's doing it now that does it legally, become an actual American citizen, get a social security number, you start paying fucking taxes, you have the ability to vote, you have children, and you cement your legacy here. That's what the 14th Amendment is supposed to do. That's why it's there.
Yeah.
We need to fix our immigration policy as far as streamlining, vetting people, and getting people paying taxes.
We need to even work on people being loyal to the country.
Yeah. And most of them that come in legally, that's the people the group that was pissed off and voted for Trump because they spent their time, they paid their dues, they're paying their taxes, and then these illegals are getting all of this free money. They're like, dude, we worked ourselves from fucking nothing. And now you're getting EBT cards and all the other shit. And all that money is going back home. It's not staying in the country. They may be buying stuff, but a lot of that money is being sent back. That's the whole key thing about getting a social security number, because they're making money under the table and nothing is being taxed. They're not being taxed on any of that money, and it goes straight back home. It's not staying here in the economy.
It's not hard to fill out the paperwork and get a fucking visa.
No.
It's not.
No, the courts need to get their fucking shit together and fucking get those things done.
Here's my opinion. Streamlining the whole system, right? You remember how a lot of our ancestors, when they came over from like England, France, and all that shit, they went through Ellis Island, right? And a lot of them had to stay there until they were confirmed or whatever, right? They can do the same thing on the southern fucking border on that. And streamline and hold them there until they're fucking truly vetted. And once it comes back that they're a criminal, kick them across the border. Plain and simple.
And that's why they were dumping all their IDs right outside the fucking fence. So they didn't have anything new with them. You know?
Also, you got to consider political asylum.
Seeing that political asylum bullshit, some of them probably do have a case, right? Some of them do.
Like we would have guys that did that in Gitmo.
But not every one of them has a
crazy thing
political asylum.
The crazy thing is they walked through minefields to get here.
They're doing that to see they can see they're fucked up.
Though.
Yeah.
Known communist country, like that's true political asylum. And the next closest country is America at Gitmo. So technically, yes, that works. Everybody else coming through the southern border, the only country that would count would be Mexico. Mm-hmm. Everybody else would, and that was the whole Remain in Mexico deal, was they go there, they get held there, like you're saying, Gilly, in the camp, and then they vet through a port of entry, and then they come in with their visas and they get their temporary green cards and they go to work and then they pay taxes.
That's all they got to do to streamline it, really. I mean, and keep the fucking jarheads on the fucking southern border, okay? And let them rain hell on people. Especially if they fire first on them, right?
Yeah.
Let the jarheads detain them. If they don't fire, okay, no, we're going to ship you right back. Fuck you.
Well, and the Mexican president, she just said, like, she feels bad that they hadn't taken on the cartels more than what they should. Now that they're seeing the U.S. is designated them as a terrorist group, and it's like, oh, well, now we have some real American backing, military operation backing, and now they're like, okay, so hopefully they can get some shit done on their side too.
But we all know Mexico's corrupt too. The government's corrupt there too.
That's because of the cartels, man. Everybody's
pays them off.
Political people they kill, getting into office. They're killing opposition left and right.
And we talked about this earlier. Cartel could be ended really fucking quick if we just set the fucking jarheads in there, tell them just run wild. Your wildest fucking dreams.
Yeah.
Just blow everything up. Turn it to a fucking parking lot.
Yeah, just give us the intel. All you need to do, you don't even need to get in a fight. Just feed us intel. That's all you need.
We got the intel. Because the CIA and NSA, they keep tabs on all those motherfuckers.
Well, I know they do, but you're going to need inside intel.
Yeah.
Inside the country itself. Yeah, we got satellites and drones everywhere, but
like DEA and all that, NCIS, all the alphabet, they got undercover agents.
Man, fuck DEA and fuck ATF.
But you know what I mean? They all got undercover agents in the cartel somewhere, probably.
I seriously doubt it.
They could. You never know.
The CIA and the FBI may have some people.
The CIA may have some, but
and Homeland Security probably.
Maybe.
I mean, it could be every alphabet organization probably has someone undercover. Yeah, but we don't know.
That's pretty good.
I mean, like it could happen though.
I mean, they got Pablo Escobar, so.
Well, yeah, they made him. I mean, he was on the run everywhere.
Yeah, but he was on the CIA payroll, just like Osama bin Laden.
Yeah, that's what fucked him. He was taking their money, and he thought he was gonna fucking abuse that fucking, being their CI or whatever, right? Abuse it.
Yeah, you ain't messing with mafia's money.
No.
Not like that.
Well, see, the CIA, they learned the mafia tactics when they asked the mafia for help to get rid of Mussolini in World War II.
Yeah.
And they kept their fucking ties close, too, throughout the decades. A lot of people think I'm fucking nuts when I talk about the mafia has connections with the CIA. They're like, no, you don't. I said, yeah, they do. I said, that's been in documentaries.
It's the fucking unions, man.
Yeah.
Fucking unions are all mafia.
Uh-huh.
Especially on the East Coast.
Yep. I mean, here in the Midwest, it's not so much as the East Coast, but one time the unions probably here in the Midwest when the mafia was really strong in St. Louis, Chicago, and Kansas City, right? Oh yeah, I know they had their hands in somewhere.
Oh yeah.
But the mafias here in mid Missouri, they've gone other ways, other directions. So they're not getting hit with that racketeering bullshit.
Yeah, once you get into a government position, you're good to go. Going legit.
And a lot of mafia did after fucking when they started taking down the big bosses with the 80s, early 90s. You know, they said, okay, we're just gonna shift.
Yeah.
You know,
They stopped selling the drugs and everything.
Yeah, I'm sure they still whack people, right? You know, that cross them, right, or don't pay them or whatever, right? You know that still happens though, but they're just, and sports betting. Don't think the mafia don't have a hand in the legal sports, the legal side of it now too.
Oh man, look, Vegas. They started it.
Yeah, they started. I mean, that's how Vegas got big. The fucking and how the mafia got the money. A lot of people don't realize this shit. They got the money from the Teamsters, took out loans from the Teamsters. When Jimmy Hoffa was the fucking Teamsters president.
Yeah.
And that's why they get rid of Jimmy Hoffa, because he told them, no, we're not doing that no more. Especially when he had to do prison time. And one of the mob bosses tried to get money from him while he was in prison. He said, no, fuck you.
Yeah, that's why he ain't finding his body.
Yeah, I see. They all think it's in New Jersey, right? You know, but then you got some people say he's buried under a fucking Redskins Stadium, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Or the Giant Stadium, or under JFK, right? Somewhere in JFK. There's also a theory, too, because actually he had a home at the Lake Ozarks, down south of me. Some people say that he was killed down there, too. And not up in, Michigan or Wisconsin, wherever, right?
Yeah.
But who really knows, though? I mean, if the mafia wants to get rid of you, they know how to get rid of a body without a trace.
Been good at it for a long time.
Oh, I love watching those documentaries like Where's Jimmy Hoffa, right? I love watching them.
There's so many of them, dude.
Oh, but Fox did one, right?
Fun.
It was actually pretty fucking good, but a lot of people they wanted to interview would not talk about it at all because they're still afraid that they was going to, piss off the mafia if they talked.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, seeing the same thing throughout the government too. I mean, a lot of people in government are willing. You know what I mean? They're willing. There's other ones that have dirt on them, so they're not willing. Well, there's a lot of them that are like willing to turn out the country, and like Rocky was saying, loyalty to the country, is gone. Like loyalty and pride in the country. And it's like those people that don't, have any pride in the country, then why aren't you taking a free plane ticket to where you want to go? Why do you want to stay here? You don't have any pride here. This place is such a piece of shit. Why are you still here? Why are you staying?
So I got an argument about that at work with.
Exactly. It's like if it's all the females that hate men that want to leave the country, go the fuck where you want. Get the fuck out of my country. We'll replace you with women that are better.
Exactly. They're getting pissed off at passport bros. Oh my God, there's American men going overseas to pick up real women.
How can you get mad at a guy that you say, I don't want you, I don't like you, and he goes somewhere where he wants to be wanted and make a family with a woman who's intelligent and lovely? It doesn't make any sense. What? You don't want them so no one else can have them? Quit being fucking hypocrites.
See, I got into some guys at work, right, one time about, we all see these Mexicans, right, flying American, they're not the American flag, but the Mexican flag all the time, right? I said, no, if they're here, they need to be flying the American flag. I said, they can still have fucking, be proud of where they come from, right? But they're not Mexican. If they're here and they're a natural citizen, or they got the green card and all that, or got the citizenship test passed, right, or natural citizen, right, they're fucking Americans. Plain simple.
I think that started in the 90s with affirmative action, man.
That started back there when they
started earlier.
When they started labeling African American, blacks African Americans, right?
Yeah, I mean, all that was a scam to get everyone divided and to make them not get along and hate each other.
And I've always said this too. And Morgan Freeman said it too. He goes, "No, I'm not African. I'm American." I've always said that too. It doesn't fucking matter what color you fucking are. If you're here, you're a citizen, you're fucking American. So take that shit.
Yeah. It matters what you do.
So
What
take
are
that
you
color
doing?
off the fucking job applications or whatever applications we got to fucking fill out sometimes on those forms. It needs to say American only, not Caucasian, not black, fucking Hispanic, whatever, right? Native American at all.
I wonder if they're going to do that.
They ain't gonna do it. They need to. If I was fucking president, that'd be one of the first things I'd bring up. Say, no, this shit's gone. You divide us into classes, it's fucking gone.
You know
Period.
what that is? The dividing of people into classes? It's communism. It's Marxism. All this crap that we're dealing with is Marxism.
Because in the military, it doesn't matter what color you are. You either a good fucking worker, good soldier, sailor, right? Or you're a piece of shit.
Yeah, and you
Like
got
that.
either you improved or they would get rid of you.
Yeah.
Which made sense because we don't want one person to get 300 people killed.
Exactly.
And I mean, I had to deal with that on the carrier, dude. I was the ATWO, and there was a kid that would not follow the order of the chief petty officer because they hurt their feelings.
And that's what
I ripped that motherfucker a new asshole. I said, "What in the fuck is wrong with you? You're going to put the lives of 5,000 people in jeopardy because you had your fucking feelings hurt? Think about everybody that has fucking family, kids, wives, cousins, grandmas, aunts, uncles, dads, moms, everybody. That could be like 20,000 people or more. And because your feelings got hurt, you're not going to do the right thing. Get the fuck off my boat. Get off. Get out. Get out.
That's why they need to bring back debt count counseling. Instead of just letting these motherfuckers do what they're right now, motherfucker. You don't do what I say, I'm gonna bust your ass.
Fan room counseling.
Damn right. Or
Yeah.
in the engine room, sometimes lower deck plate counseling, lower level counseling.
or if someone has a beef with someone else, fucking do smokers, man.
So I know Joe asked that question, but I never remember that being on the 5.
No, I don't think it was on the 5.
It was in the fucking Torp mag because remember Reed used to go big ass EN1 Reed.
Well,
I wonder how he's doing. I hope he's doing well.
that was not sanctioned though. That was not sanctioned.
Yeah, that doesn't matter. That's what smokers are, dumbass. Was non-sanctioned fighting.
Now back in the day, they also had sanctioned boxing matches called smoking matches too, smokers matches too. Back in the day too.
No, this was unsanctioned. That's why it was in the Torp mag.
But I'm saying, like World War II time, it was called smokers too, but it was sanctioned at the time.
Well, boys, it is after 6.
It is about time to go.
Yeah. So I'm going to end it right now. Thank you for watching us. Like and subscribe. And please, if you have any questions or comments, please ask us questions, comments, and we'll do our best to answer you guys correctly and give you references for what we talk about. Thank you and goodbye from the Fifer'S.
Peace.